Afternoon, how are we all doing? Afternoon, Christian, Gregors, Fletch, IT, Julio, Ian, Kennelly, Martin, how are we doing? Not particularly exciting non-farm payroll, is it? Bit of movement, but not masses. Lululemon shares have fallen. My wife will be very unhappy. She shops at Lululemon all the time. So non-farm payroll, basically, the unemployment rate came out at 3.7, which is very good. So that's positive US. I don't expect the US dollar to rally much on it, but it does mean that it takes the pressure off of the interest rates, which is good. So, yeah, all good. Lots of positive across the board, basically, today. So just quickly running through that news. Unemployment rate 3.7, that's obviously bullish. Interest rates going up tends to drive up in unemployment. So the fact that that's gone down as interest rates have gone up is good. It means they're turning, which means that it takes the pressure off and they don't have to reduce rates as quickly, basically. So it helps them keep rates high to keep inflation low. We've had some news on the ECB as well, 1.25 rate hike cut, which is what we're expecting, somewhere around there to 1.5. There you go, Fed swaps price in less easing in 2024 after the jobs report. So that's basically saying we don't have to reduce interest rates as much if unemployment continues to fall. So it's mixed, basically. So it's positive and negative for the US at the same time, really. So we haven't had a massive move off of it. US dollar Swiss has, but we have had some movement, but it's an ADR, not a massive move, not like we've had on the yen. So yen has started to power up again off the back of the news. This thing's all over the place. I took another trade on the Euro CAD. We hit ADR. So we pushed down, hit ADR, we bounced off of ADR, so I took another long. I want to keep the spacing nice and even on this. This is an ADR, basically. The reversal alert is never going to trigger on this today because of the speed of that movement. So your reversal alert is going to trigger there. I wanted to make sure I got another position on, so I took a manual trade on that at ADR as we sort of bounced off of ADR. So I took a manual. ADR on this is 89. That's 75. So I just wanted to make sure I got one on. I'm trying to get out of this by Christmas. So I'm just trying to keep this as close to ADR as I can at the moment, just to try and get out. I want to be flat. It'd be so nice to be flat for Christmas and not have to even look at a chart for 3 weeks. You never know. Might happen. I don't think it's... trying to think. I don't think I have actually been flat at Christmas. So this will be the first time, which will be lovely. DAX this morning. I'm still in the DAX. I've just turned the EA off. Normally the EA would close the position on this candle for me 5 minutes before the open. I'm letting it run with a trailer. I've got a 20-point trailer on this DAX. Basically, we got hedged this morning. We pushed up. My TP was here at 4.5R, about 4R, roughly, something like that, just over. We pushed up, we pulled back, and I was expecting another shot, and it didn't. It collapsed back down again. So basically, what I played this morning was a bounce out of propulsion. So we pushed up hard. We came back down. We hit this propulsion move, which was the open today, and we started to bounce out of that. So I took off the short positions when I saw that bounce starting. It pushed up, pulled back, got me up to there, and then obviously the news hit. The news is reversed. So I've got out of half the position there, and I'm letting the second half run. So at the moment, I'm negative 277, which is fine, but I'm up $300 in open money at the moment. So the DAX is going to be a win this morning, but not conventional win. Bit of a mess. TP on that is 400. I'm 277, so I've locked in $130 basically. Whipsaw on the indices. So that whole news was a whipsaw. I wasn't expecting it to go far today, but you never know. You can never tell with these. One sec. So yeah, so bit of a whipsaw. We'll see what happens. So there's a lot of ADRs today. A lot of these ADRs are yens again. Are just steering clear of this thing. I've no idea what this is up to, this yen. It's an absolute beast. We had those 600 ADR moves yesterday. We've done 150 ADR down today. Then we've done 150 ADR back up again. Now it's coming back down again. You know, this is absolute lunacy, this yen at the moment. They've no idea why they're scaling into this so much. Yeah, they're going to put their interest rate up to 0. Whoop-de-doo. So it seems like a bit of an overreaction, but anyway, don't know. So you got a lot there. There's a lot of ADR hits off of the news. Obviously, these are all potential mean reversion opportunities. CAD Swiss has hit the upside. Euro CAD hit the downside. I've got into that one, obviously, because I'm already long. Euro US dollar has hit the downside as well. So these could all bounce. This is news, obviously, but it's not particularly big fundamental news. It's I don't think it's going to massively power up the US dollar. They may have a bit of a pullback on it, but nothing particularly dramatic. So these are all pretty much, you can get into any of these today. They're probably going to mean revert, but ideally look for something that's coming down to a decent area of level of support resistance. So plenty of ADR opportunities available, and RSIs are flat now. So most of the RSIs have played out. They're all yen. I'm not trading the yen. So there we go. There's your analysis on FX, done in less than 10 minutes. It's just a mess. Leave it. Do something else. 1 minute to the open. 30 seconds to go. If anybody's got any FX pairs you want to look at, let me know. But we'll watch the open first, see where that goes. Afternoon, Amy, Virginia, Brian, David, Dion. How we doing? So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with the open. Bit worried about the open today after yesterday. Yesterday was terrible. And the fact that we've put a big move in, I'm worried that we're not going to get enough volume today. Okay, so going long. No, I'm not. Thought I was. I am now. Going long on the S&P. No trade on the Dow. And long on the NASDAQ. So the Dow's opening range is 600. Blimey. That's a big old pre-market candle. So no trades on the Dow. Why is there a stop loss there again? You might have just figured out why that happened. That long triggered before the stop was deleted. Oh, I might have found why that happens. Trying to think how that's coded. Different logic kicks in when you've got a trade on to when you've got pendings on, which is analyzed per tick. So if you place an order with a pending and a stop loss, and the trade gets triggered before that line gets executed, it's never going to execute. That's why it happens. How do you stop that? I might have figured out why the stop loss problem happens. That's good. It's the first time I've actually seen that happen. That opens up a can of worms. Right. Figure that out later. Afternoon, John. So we've broken long. We haven't managed to get to target. Great. So obviously today your pre-market highs to the upside are where you're going to first meet some resistance today. Downside, we've got obviously the wicks of the news event, which caused your pre-market lows. So there's your pre-market ranges basically today. So first upside stops are going to be those. We'll have a look at where else we're going to go. We'll see what happens at the open though. See if we can get a clean break today. Do a clean break today. we haven't had a clean break for a couple of days now. So watching something over there. Had several times the stop loss didn't get removed. I don't know why. Like I say, it's literally the next line of code. Place pending order, delete stop. Place pending order, delete stop. Line 274, line 275. Physically impossible for that line not to get executed next. That's what happens. Code runs down. It's something to do with broker execution as well. Or MT4 in general, or MT5 in general. MT5 does this. I know MT5 does it, but no idea why. Might switch over to Trading View. Only joking. Still breaking long. It's not looking particularly convincing though, is it, at the moment? We've got 1 minute to go. DAX has just broken out the highs, which is nice. That's locking in even more profit for me. I've got a TP set up at ADR on that, which is, I think, about $800 or something, $1,100. So that would lock me in 900, 800, something like that. We can get up there. That'd be lovely. Struggling to get any movement here. I'm toying with the idea. It's too late. Missed it. I was just going to say I was going to close out the S&P with a couple of $100 and just run the NASDAQ because these two are going to go the same way anyway. So I was thinking maybe I'll shut that and let that run. Now the S&P's decided it wants to rally up to 1R. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Might be a mistake today. So no trade at all on the Dow today. Range too high again. Look at this NASDAQ, DAX, absolutely flying. So range is too big on the Dow. Because we've got all this, you see the size of these candles before the news, and then look at the size of the candles after the news. These candles are way bigger than the normal range of the candles. So basically it's there's just too much movement coming off the back of the news basically today. This market's really, really struggling to go long today. Just from a pure personal perspective, because I had a losing day yesterday, I'm going to close out the S&P, but it's every time I look at closing it, it looks like it wants to pop. Just because it banks me $1,300 pretty much. Oh, it's jittery today, isn't it? Difficult. Towel, please. Brian needs a towel. What did I say, Ryan? Why did I require a towel again? Afternoon, Monkey. Thoughts on Euro Pound? I'll have a look at that in a sec. I'm closing the S&P. I just don't like the look of it. It's just really, there's when the market's like this, you get when you watch it enough, when the market's jittery, and what I mean is there's a hell of a lot of volume coming in and it's not going anywhere like that, what you'll find in a minute is it will just go and someone will put a big order in and it will start a move. We're trying to go long and something is holding this down today and it can't get through at the moment. And I've just seen it before. It will pop. It may even pop long. But if it doesn't pop long, what I don't want to do is be hedged on 2 positions. I'd rather be hedged on 1 because I'm going to bank $1,000 here. Well, yeah, I'm going to bank $1,000 there. And I'd rather have 1,200, 1,500 banked and 1 hedge on than have that banked and these 2 cancel out that today. Just purely that's my position at the moment. It might go, but they're both going to go the same. So I just, because I haven't got the DOW on and I haven't got the opportunity for the DOW to do something different to these 2 today, I just don't want to be double exposed over here. You know, it might go, but it's so, look at it. It's just been flicking there for 3 or 4 minutes, trying to bat its head against this high. And there's an order here. Just every time it gets there, it's just executing and it's not letting it through. So there's going to have to be a hell of a lot of volume to overrun whoever's sitting here with this iceberg today to get through that. And if they can't, they're just all going to puke and they're going to flip short and it's just going to pop down. So I just don't, I don't want to do that on both. But keep them on if you want to. There's no saying it's going to happen. I have no idea. Just doesn't seem to be able to go long, does it? The DAX is rallying. So 750. So it's $500 locked in as profit there at the moment. Come back to that in a minute. Someone would look at something. Euro pound. Okay, so Euro pound is doing nothing, sideways. My thoughts on it are that for 5 days we've gone sideways. There is nothing. It's nothing. Not doing anything, is it? I don't know what else to say on that one. Oh, trading view you're laughing at, Brian. Right. Feeling like an inside day? Yeah. It's not the day that I would expect to be an inside day because of non-farm, but it might be. Let's have a quick look at them all. So obviously that is yesterday's high and low. So we had a very tight day yesterday. What we've done today basically is hit yesterday's high, bounce off. The news spike has taken us to yesterday's low and we're sitting here. So to get an inside bar today, obviously, we've got to remain within where we are at the minute. Non-farm payroll day either goes mental or it doesn't. And it doesn't necessarily matter what the news is. It just either does or it doesn't. They either use it to launch a move or they don't. So if we do break out of that high today, we're running into ADR. So you're only going to be looking at the weekly high. That's last week's high, which is where we spiked through and rejected. So you're either looking at last week's high at 125 ADR, or you're looking at the high of this week at 150 ADR. If we break through to the upside, which it looks like it wants to do because the DAX is going. If it breaks through that downside, we're looking at this propulsion gap, which is what our target was yesterday, which is ADR. So there's plenty of room in both directions, but obviously it needs the momentum. There it goes. The Dow's going now. S&P, look, yeah, it's starting to go now, so I shouldn't have shut that out. It's a mistake, but never mind. S&P, you're looking at, obviously, that's your pre-market high, very, very close to yesterday's high, which is very, very close to the previous day's high. So basically, it's ADR. Downside, obviously, is in that propulsion gap. And the NASDAQ, We've broken out basically just about of previous day's high, which is where we stalled at yesterday. So again, if we're going to break up today, we'll be watching yesterday's high really. Other than that, sky's the limit to 150. So the US indices have got plenty more room upside to go, but they're stuck at the moment. We're really strangled, aren't we? We've had a multiple week run and we've just got stuck. It's Christmas. It looks like Christmas. It feels like Christmas. We're miles away from Christmas, but the market is Christmas trading already. So what can you do? DAX isn't though. Look at the DAX go. Let's go, baby. Keep going. So S&P's rallying. TP1 hit NASDAQ. You're still shy of TP1. It has hit the 2R level. So discretionary on the S&P. You're either out or you're still in, but you're very, very close to target. That one's already done. Break-even trailer. So watching that high, basically. Dow, if you have taken the 5-minute ORB today, you're long. But watch this pre-market high, which is what you're tapping. Basically, you're tapping straight into the pre-market high and yesterday's high. So that's yesterday's high. That's the pre-market high. So you're going to hit some limits there because there's limit orders. We know there's sellers there, and we know that there's sellers there. So big sell area. So just watch that to the upside when we get there if you're long. TP hit on the S&P. Should have kept it going. Never mind. What can you do? About to hit target on the DAX. So I'm just going to cancel that take profit. I'm going to get out with the trailer. Because if this wants to rally today and go mental, then I'll let it. And you can go with me. This P&L figure won't update now because I've deactivated the EA. So this obviously only runs when the EA is running. And I've turned the EA off because I don't want it to shut the position because the EA will auto shut at the New York Open because it's a DAX. So I've turned that off. So ignore that P&L there. It's banked negative 277 and it's trailing 884 plus 900. So locked in 700. Okay, S&P pre-market highs. That is also an old monthly level. Look, that's last month's high. So this propulsion, it's not really a propulsion, it's more of an A-shaped recovery, but it's propulsion. Nonetheless, it's a sell area, so watch that level as well. Let me just catch up on the chat. Gold makes a nice move. Don't trade gold. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you've got a big round number coming up at 2,000, which is ADR. Previous support resistance area. May do, may not. Afternoon, Crom. I'm still stuck in Euro CAD, Euro US dollar. Doesn't seem to want to push up. No, not at the moment. Have to wait. If the DAX is going up, does that mean the Euro might as well? No, it's the opposite. The indices do the opposite to the currency. So if you get the DAX rallying, the Euro will typically drop. So if you look at a euro pair, like euro pound, for example, or euro, I don't know what the pound's doing today. I haven't really looked. Difficult to tell at the moment because obviously there's a lot of movement off the US, but typically you'll find that the base currency of the stock index will do the opposite to the stock index because you need to pull money out of the currency to buy the stock. So therefore, when you get a rally in the stock market, you get the base currency, in this case for the DAX, the euro, dropping, and the same with the US. If the NASDAQ and the S&P and everything rallies like a crazy beast, the US dollar tends to drop. So if you look at what we've just had for the last month happening on the stock indices, they've been rallying ridiculously. The US dollar's been coming down. Okay, just pulling back from the highs at the moment. UK 100 rallying. Yeah, that's probably rallying with the rest of the markets. Basically, everything's going up at the minute. Just a purchase around the block, basically. Thank you for stopping my system hopping. That's always a good thing to do. Worst thing in the world, system hopping. Eventually, you either get bored with it and give up trading, or you make your own strategy, which is typically what most people tend to do. Creating this EA and showing us ADR reversals for free on YouTube. Cool. Bitcoin has a $3,500 wick. What? Bitcoin has a $3,500 wick. Not on my chart, it doesn't. Bitcoin's just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Where you got that from, but my broker doesn't have that. On Binance, it might do. Yeah. Good luck trading with Binance. Con artists. EuroCAD. Watching this. Just wanted to see if this was moving up or not. Changing the subject. Right. So there's the high. You're just testing that high on the S&P. If we manage to crack that S&P high, we should get a nice little run on the NASDAQ. If that cracks that high, that will help that move. We should get a nice run today. So watch upside targets today, basically. We will see where we go. If you've got any other FX pairs you want to look at, let me know. But there's nothing much else to look at today from an FX perspective. It's all about the yen still. The market is still trying to digest what the hell is going on with the yen. It looks like they're adding to those positions. This yen starting to come back down again off the back of the US news. So just be careful if you are trying to mean revert this. Just doesn't seem right, but you got to look at that and go, someone wants to long it, don't they? So yeah, we have had a decent pullback on it. If you look at the actual move yesterday on the Aussie yen, for example, we've done a 50% retracement. So potentially this could come back down again from here, couldn't it? But I missed it yesterday. I was trying to get into a mean reversion on it yesterday, and I just didn't have the balls to take it. Wasn't brave enough yesterday, but could have had a nice little profit out of it. But be careful. Look at those wicks. Mental today, isn't it? Very weird week. Pulling back on the NASDAQ at the moment. Locked in one more R there. We've pushed up to 3R. So I'm trailing 2R on this at the minute. And DAX is pulling back as well. Dow rallying out into ADR. These highs, and that's the next stop, basically 150 ADR or the weekly level, which is 125. Moves. Like it. Well, I like it because I'm long. Just wish I hadn't shut that S&P, but got a bit scared after yesterday. Anybody got any other pairs I want to look at? Because I'm going to cut it short this afternoon. If not, because it's Friday afternoon, I suspect we're either going to get one of those crazy rallies that doesn't stop, or we're going to go into rotation today, because the rest of this week has been rotational. So I can't see them really. I was expecting today really to be the day with non-farm, but I suspect we're probably going to see rotation today. So it's very clear upside and downside targets today. So I'm just going to let whatever's going to play out today with the EA. But there's nothing really else to look at today. It's all about, as I say, that move on the yen. Looks like we're just about to get stopped out on those. Anyway, there you go. So $600 banked there. That's going to be 650. So that's 12, 13, 1500 today. So that gets back most of yesterday's losses, because it was a $2,700 loss day yesterday. There you go. So flat 1400 today. So one loss day this week, which is very annoying. 8.75% up on the week. So not bad. Take that. So yeah, flat on that. Let me just turn the EA back on so I remember. Otherwise, that won't trade on Monday. Yeah, so flat. So I think we're probably going to rotation for the best of the day now. So not a lot else to look at. So watch these ADRs. There's plenty of ADR opportunities today. There's not a massive amount of strength in this Canadian or US. So again, I think quite possibly you'll be able to get mean reversions on these, but you're going to find it tricky to get into these because the news spike was quite big. So your reversal alerts, unless it makes new highs and moves the support rectangle up, you're going to have to rely on price action to get into anything today. So just Fridays are always a bit dodgy because it's either a really strong day or it doesn't go anywhere. And especially after yesterday's move on the yen, I don't think this market's really got any legs left in it. It's like in confusion mode. So we'll come back and look at it next week. Aussie New Zealand. So yeah, Aussie New Zealand, that's had a big rally. We're 150 ADR today on the Aussie New Zealand. We looked at this one this morning. It hit ADR already this morning when we came on. So watching this propulsion high at the moment. So we pushed up. I said this morning, if we get up to here, that's a really nice looking long short opportunity, and we'll be extended on the hourly. So that would be a good short. This is a fundamental shift in the Australian dollar. They got worse than expected news and results. So I suspect the Aussie will weaken moving forward from here. So I wouldn't expect it really to break back above that high. So you two ways to look at it. You got that leg and you're doing a pullback of 71.9 on that leg. Or we're going to come up and double top. Either way, I'd be looking more for shorts and longs on it. Pound odd. Opposite, obviously. Australian dollar weakening. Pound long. This is a range. This is massively, massively range bound, this pound odd. Look at it. Doesn't matter how far you go out. This thing is a range bound beast. Not going anywhere. So you want to be, basically, if you draw a line through the middle of that range, anywhere down here, long it, anywhere up there, short it at the moment. Nothing else it can do. It's just stuck. We've got a weak currency with a currency that is weakening forming a range. Yeah, if you've got something that's weak against something that's weak, it doesn't go anywhere. It's only if you've got something that's strong against something that's weak that you actually get movement. It's just stuck. So not going anywhere at the moment. So this is a pretty good area to start looking for longs, obviously down here. Not quite extended enough on the RSI. I haven't had a trade on this. I haven't actually had a trade on this month or last month, I don't think. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, one there, look. So in and out there with a long. Had one there as well. But that's it. Haven't had a trade on it since beginning of November. Look, sideways. Brian, it's funny. A bomb could drop outside and I could trade through it. But when my pup next to me is wanting her belly scratched, you can't. No. Dogs have a way of taking control, don't they? My dog does that. I'm sitting there watching the telly, right? And she'll come up and sit next to me and just sit there and stare like that. And I look at her and like look away again. And you can't stop. You have to deal with it. Very clever. They're very manipulative dogs. Euro Swiss, stuck 5 days all week, basically. We haven't moved all week. We're stuck. All the euros are stuck at the moment. Every euro, if you look at every euro pair, euro odd, obviously the ranges are varying, but they're all stuck sideways at the moment. I'm obviously in euro CAD. That's the only thing I'm in euro, but they are weak at the minute. So it's going to take, I covered this morning, but it's going to take the opposite currency to weaken dramatically to allow these to rally, because there's absolutely no reason for the euro to rally at the moment. Interest rates are going to drop, potentially going to drop before the US, which will be quite new for us, because the US is always first. The US housing crisis, always first. US banking sector, always first. Everything that happens, good or bad, happens in the US first. The euro, because their inflation figure has come down much faster than everybody else's, and is almost at target, which is 2% ahead of the US, because that's happening faster off of lower interest rates, they're going to have to move this down quicker, which means they may go first. If they go first, that's a little bit unprecedented, because we usually look to the US to give us guidance. We're always behind. Every other currency is always sitting somewhere in the region of 3 to 6 months behind the US. Everything that happens over there with technology, with everything, they're just a little bit ahead of us all the time. First time, really, I think the euro might go first, maybe February, March. So as they've indicated they're going to drop, we will expect the euro to drop moving forward. However, dropping doesn't happen like that. Dropping happens like that. So, or it happens like that. Yeah, and then eventually it will do that. So this could be an accumulation drop, but because we're moving into Christmas, and this is why on this Euro CAD I've taken a manual position here, because we're moving into Christmas, we are likely to form ranges everywhere, and they will be spiky ranges because there won't be any liquidity in the market. So I'm trying to keep my average as close as possible. One ADR push to the upside and I'm done, basically. So just trying to get out of stuff ready before Christmas, but I suspect we'll do that for the next week, 2 weeks, unless there's something fundamental that shifts between now and then. There's a hell of a lot of news. Next week is a big news week. Yeah, we got FOMC next week. We got the interest rate announcement on the Fed next Wednesday. We've got the CPI figures coming out for the US next week. We've got the Swiss rate coming out next week. We've got the euro rate, the pound rate. It's a massive, massive, massive week next week, news-wise, PMIs. So it finishes the year off with a bang. But equally, it can finish the year off with a holy crap, which is why I'm trying to get flat this week, ideally, because I don't want to have to deal with any of that. But equally, this will all undo next week. Yeah. So any positions you're in could all flip the other way. We're not going to get any interest rate changes next week. The Swissies, the only one that might do them. The Swissies are quite renowned for dropping little surprises into the market with interest rates. So I think that's really the only chance we've got of changes next week. But the inflation figures are the ones that are going to give us the indications as to what's going to happen next week. We've got PPI figures, we've got all sorts coming out next week. Big week. It'll be good. It'll be volatile, but whether or not we change direction, I'm not sure. We will see. What does margin XXX% mean in the MT4 contract specification? That's how much margin requirement for that instrument. So the margin requirement it's only got margin percentage, isn't it? I thought they showed the margin requirement in there. Maybe they don't. They don't. But yeah, it's basically how much margin you need. So with stock indices, you normally need more margin than you do with FX pairs because of the volatility. So and the cost of holding them, basically. So just how much you need, really. NASDAQ just swept the London high. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. What happened there? Just gapped up. Oh, look. Come down, take me out, and then go. So we just taken the highs there. We're well out the highs on the S&P. Called that wrong today, didn't I? That was I just didn't like that. I hate it when it's jerky and volatile like that. You just know there's going to be an explosive move coming, which there was. It just went my way this time. I shouldn't have done it. But if that had gone down to there, it would just have been an instant hedge. So right decision for me, but wrong decision for the way that went. So yeah, watch these highs. We've just taken the pre-market. We're at ADR. This is a really big confluence here, look, on the S&P today. So we've got this blue dotted line, which is the previous day's high, Wednesday's high. We've got ADR, yesterday's high, and the pre-market. All of it in that block, which it's just literally leapt through. So watch for a retest of that and a continuation. If this closes back down below all those levels, you'll be looking out below. Key point this. But I'm out. I'm flat. So yeah, 215 there, 600 there, 600 there. Done for the day. Right, I'm back on Monday at 7:50 and 2:20. Next week, I'm going to play it by ear, day by day, because I don't really think I'm not going to want to trade anything new next week. I'm not going to take any new positions. I don't want to hold over Christmas. So I won't be taking any new positions next week, but we have got a hell of a lot of news. So it's going to be a big week volatility-wise. Whether we get any directional changes or whether we get any directional continuations, we'll find out next week. But it's going to be a big week. So I will be around. But if it looks contracted and it's not really doing much, I might just go, screw this, I'll be back in January. So we'll see how the volatility is. But next week, regardless, is going to be the last week. I'm not trading the week after next. So the week before Christmas is ridiculously slow this week, usually. But you never know. So so next week is going to be fairly busy from a news perspective. As you can see, literally every day is just solid red. But, you know, when you've got this much red for position trading, you know, if you get two news events go against you, you could be down 200, 300 ADR on your positions. So running up into the quietest week of the year, what you're going to do is enter new positions next week and potentially sit on them for a month, because we won't get any more movement until the 3rd of January. So just be careful, basically, next week. Dollar index just pushed down hard. Pound US dollar will have rallied hard. Yeah, big spike just gone in. Oh, that's University of Michigan, isn't it? 3 o'clock. Completely forgot about the UOM. There you go. University of Michigan news, 3 o'clock. That was what that was. That's what the spike was. It's not a move. It's just the spike on the Michigan numbers. Let's ask 500 people what they think about the economy. Yeah, right. Okay, let's change our interest rate decisions because of these 500 people. Don't get University of Michigan. It's ridiculous. They do move it, though. They just use it to move. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but it does. Could be a PDH run and Stahl on a reversal setup. Previous day's high run and stay-at-home lawyer. Don't know what Stahl is. Never heard of that one. It's an acronym I'm not familiar with. University of Michigan data, yeah. That's what that was. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I will be babysitting Euro Swiss, 5% on the month. It'd be nice if I can get another 0.13 just to top it up to 5. But I will be watching Euro CAD and getting out when I can get out, basically. So we'll see where we go with that one. But I'll be babysitting that one next week. Other than that, good programming this morning. Always tires me out. I'll be back on Monday, 7:50, same time for Frankfurt and 2:20 for New York. Good luck if you're still in the indices and holding them long. Hopefully they'll run, but we are up at ADRs and stuff, so don't hold your breath. Yeah, have a good weekend, and I will be back on Monday. I will see you guys then. Have a good one.